What's up, Garage Gym athletes? Welcome back, and today we're talking about MURPH again, but this time we're talking about excelling at MURPH. I did a video, you can check it out on progressing within MURPH, and that one is tailored toward people that might be a little bit newer. It's for everybody really that can get better at it, to help prepare yourself for MURPH, whether it's adding bodyweight volume, and just really helping you to tackle the workout, whether you're new to it, doing it for the first time with the vest. But today I want to talk about excelling in MURPH. So I'll go over the workout again real quick, and then we'll talk about the pro tips at excelling in MURPH. So once again, this workout is dedicated to Michael P. Murphy, who was a Navy SEAL who died in combat and was awarded the Medal of Honor. The workout goes a 1 mile run, buy-in, then you will do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then a 1 mile run cash out. And this was all while wearing a 20-pound vest for males, 14-pound vest for females. Now those are completely optional. You can still decide to scale it even if you want to crush your previous time. And so the tips will still apply. And what I mentioned before is that you can partition the reps however you see fit. We heard one of our athletes wrote directly to Michael P. Murphy's family, and his father got back to them and said that he would partition the reps as when he did this workout. CrossFit developed the workout originally, and they always had the partition it wasn't until the games happened, and they had the games athletes who are elite athletes not partition the reps because they are elite level athletes. But you may partition the reps however you see fit, or do the workout however you want. So the most common way and the fastest way to get through it would be a 5, 10, 15 splits, 20 rounds of that. So not only did our founder and CEO Jerred has done this workout for 52 weeks straight twice, so that's 2 years in a row. He did MURPH once a week, and all of his fastest times were with the 5, 10, 15 split for 20 rounds. We also now have a ton of our athletes who do this workout weekly. It is a yearly challenge that a lot of people like to embark on, and they do MURPH once a week for an entire year. And just like with Jerred, most of them have found their best and fastest times to be 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15. Unless you are very high level, really good at bodyweight movements, could you maybe do a 10, 20, 30, 10 rounds of, but we would recommend you do the 5, 10, 15. So the number one is going to be increase your squat frequency and intensity. So the air squats are going to be one of the biggest time sucks in this entire workout. The run is going to be the run. You can only get so much faster at the run for how you run right now, unless you're preparing months ahead of time. Pull-ups are only 5 reps. If you do the same round, pull-ups will be fine. Push-ups, you might start to hit muscle fatigue. I'll hit that later. But air squats are going to be where you're hitting the most amount of time, because it's the most amount of reps, 300 reps, and it's going to jack up your heart rate the most. So that means people are going to slow down their reps. They're going to do maybe a rep, pause 1 or 2 seconds, maybe a rep, pause 1 or 2 seconds, and really your goal should be doing each of the air squats as fast as possible, especially if you're breaking it up to 15s, as fast as possible. So you need to practice how you're going to play, and that is doing lots of air squats as fast as possible, high intensity, getting that muscle fatigue and that deep burn. Adding in circuits to do for these, which I'll go over some more later, but adding in some near fatigue efforts of air squats would be good. So we're talking starting off with 75 air squats as fast as possible, rest 2 or 3 minutes, do it 2 more times. Up that up to 100 air squats as fast as possible, rest 2 to 3 minutes, do 100 air squats as fast as possible again, do it 3 times, up those to 120. You may even get up to 150 depending on where you're at. You can start to wear a vest, then you can do the same thing and same rep scheme and then add a vest. You can play with it there, but really adding air squat volume is going to be key, especially at a higher intensity, because that is where a lot of your time and a lot of the suck happens during this workout. For a lot of athletes, the pull-ups are just going to be pull-ups because there's only 5 at a time. You can usually a lot of times for the athletes, that's sometimes the easiest part. It's not going to be for everyone, but the air squats are usually the suckiest part, because it really jacks your heart rate up and you're going to have the deepest burn. But it's the ones that you can just keep knocking out. It's more about your own mental fortitude of how fast you can knock these out. Limiting breaks and transitions is another key for this. And typically what you would want to do is wherever you're doing pull-ups, you're going to drop straight down and do push-ups. And then right where you're doing push-ups, wherever you're going to stand up, right into the pull-up bar, you're going to do air squats. So that all you have to do after you're done your air squats is reach above your head and do pull-ups. That is going to limit the transition time 100%, and that's the best way to go about doing it. Push-ups, as I mentioned before, if you This is going to be more independent if you're depending on how weak you are at push-ups or how much you might get fatigued. Again, you can add more volume for the push-ups. If you were doing a 5, 10, 15 circuit to prepare, I would do all of those 10 push-ups like unbroken each time. But when it comes to executing the actual workout, I always recommend people do them in 5 and 5. And the reason is after you get 10, 15, 10, 12, maybe 15 rounds in, you're going to be much more fatigued, and you're going to try and do 10 push-ups, and you might get 5, and you might just sit back and rest, and then you might hit a wall. You might hit 7, and then 8, and then you have to rest again. And then now, instead of resting once per set for the entire time, you're resting 2, maybe even 3 times per set, and you're really struggling at the 8, 9, and 10 rep marks each set. Because once you hit muscle fatigue, you're done. You can only go so much faster. You can't game it or mentally push yourself to get out reps that your body just can't do. So from the start, I do this still. I do 5 push-ups. I get on my knees, sit back for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then do 5 push-ups. That 2 or 3 second break now is still going to add up to better time down the future in the 12, 15 plus round range, because instead of the 2 or 3 seconds that you think you would have later, you're going to have 2 or 3 seconds for 3 or 4 reps, and then you're going to sit back, and then 3 or 4 seconds, and then those later rounds are going to have possibly 10 seconds full of rest, versus if you kept to the 5 and 5 the entire time, it'll help break that up just a little bit so that muscle fatigue does not hit. As I alluded to before, to enter in some circuits, so you have some air squat intensity and volume, but you really want to practice how this workout is going to go. You really want to practice those calisthenics, the flow, the fact that, after 5 minutes, you might knock out the first 10 rounds of 5, 10, 15 and be like, great, this is awesome. But usually around 12 and 13 is when you really start to hit a lot of people start to hit that wall, because you still have a good amount of reps left and you're starting to hit muscle fatigue. Your heart rate's up at 85+%. That's really when you need to dig in. But if you're prepared for that, especially from a muscle endurance standpoint, you're going to be much better off. So a workout we like to do is, we call it MURPH Practice, although it's basically vested Cindy if you're for the CrossFit people out there. You're going to do 5, 10, 15 of that rep scheme for 20 minutes, but you're going to wear a vest. And even if you do this once a week leading up to it, you're going to be so much better off. We've done this in our programming and for entire groups of athletes for a 4-week wave. And by week 4, everybody's has added 2, 3, or 4 rounds in that 20-minute span just by doing it once a week. So that once a week, just bake it into one of your days if you want. It's going to make a huge, huge difference, because if you're adding 2, 3, 4 rounds in a 20-minute time span, that means you're finishing your calisthenics 2 or 3 minutes before you may have finished before, and that right there can save you on your time big time. Other tips and tricks for planning it out: your first mile should be about at 90%. Do not go straight out the gate and sprint that first mile because it's like, oh, time is of the essence. I'm a good runner. I just need to run this mile as fast as possible. You need to dial that back to about 90% because you still need to have some in the tank. And that last mile is when you will do 100%, but you're going to be a bit slogged down because you already ran a mile and you did 300 air squats. And that 300 air squats is going to really fatigue your legs for that last mile, but that is also when you will dig deep. So make sure you are not spiking your heart rate and trashing your system just on that first mile to go 100%. Dial it back to about 90% of your PR mile pace. As far as fuel goes, this is going to be individual, but you really should be practicing this, especially if you're doing MURPH Practice workouts. And I like to have a little bit of electrolytes and carbs, so like a liquid IV and maybe like an RX bar, something small in the morning, an hour before I might do this, just so you have enough to replenish your glycogen stores and you're fueled and hydrated and ready to go. Typically this workout, everybody's gonna be doing it on Memorial Day, so some places are gonna start to get really, really hot, so you're definitely gonna be sweating a lot. And I recommend you need to hydrate the day before and the morning of with electrolytes. Don't drink anything during. And the reason why I say that is typically you're not going to be able to rehydrate yourself enough during a workout. You're just going to put something in your stomach to slosh around, and it might make you a little bit queasy. There's also studies that show that drinking water during a aerobic or endurance event will mess up your body temperature regulation, which could mess up your heart rate and actually make you more tired, because your body temperature is still regulating. And so that would be our top tips for executing the workout and excelling at MURPH. I still recommend, even if you are a pro at MURPH, to look at our Progressing at MURPH video, because any sort of preparation you can do for the days, weeks leading up to doing the workout will help tremendously. and especially doing that MURPH practice once a week leading up to it will really, really help you excel at this workout. And I mean, unless you just really like to embrace the suck of it and really the hard nature of it and just kind of go at it the day of, and that's, hey, that's great. There is still an element of mental toughness and pushing yourself through it. So that's what we have today on excelling at MURPH. We still have a lot of other videos on either MURPH that we've talked about, podcasts we've talked about, programming in general to check out. So please like, subscribe, and check out the other videos that we have on our YouTube, and we'll see you in another video.